Welcome to another edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Steve Hare. Today I'm joined by Kyle Steinburg, Douglas County Commissioner. Our topic is actually Douglas County PUD and the Public Utility District's proposed rate increases for next year that Commissioner Steinburg takes issue with as his speaking on behalf of your board.
Yes, yeah, just myself and my board. I think they come out and said that they've supported the position that I've taken, and I think it's moreover a position of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. We're all unified in how we feel about it and wanting to work towards a kind of a better resolution.
Let's give a little background here. First of all, the Douglas County PUD has proposed a set of new rate adjustments that actually targets the data center and cryptocurrency industries in Douglas County, which is a growing industry and contributes mightily to the county coffers. I think that's one of the issues that Kyle wants to touch on. Granted, understand that we've not had a chance to talk to the PUD yet about the rates. They do have a meeting coming up on the 23rd, but we're told by the communications person with the PUD, Megan Vibert, that there will be no action taken at that Monday, December 23rd meeting. Nevertheless, the issue still is there, that they are proposing some significant rate increases that will affect the data center industry, and the trickle-down impact from that to taxing districts in Douglas County could be significant. And this is the subject of what your concern is.
Well, I'm glad that you've had contact with the PUD and that they seem to maybe have slowed down and walked back what they were originally, to my understanding, planning on, which was a vote on the 23rd for these rate increases. And I had mentioned in my letter, I think it's incredibly poor timing. I think it's really goes against, having, open and transparent, public meetings. And when you're a public utility and you're there to serve the public, I believe that's an important part of the process. I think if someone wants the opportunity to speak at the meetings, or they want to help you through your decision-making process by maybe, giving you some information that you're missing, I think that's crucial in the decision-making process. And I think, scheduling meetings during the holiday season, scheduling, meetings and then to the decision-making process in a really short period of time, and especially a meeting 2 days before Christmas, is inopportune for the public to participate. So, there's that issue that we kind of had exception with. I know at our commission, we would never think of scheduling a meeting of such importance with so little time frame, so little public awareness. And really before Christmas. So we kind of had exception with that.
So Commissioner Steinberg, when did you first become aware of these rate increases?
I became aware of these rate increases at the beginning of last week from outside sources.
It's the first you'd heard about it?
The first I'd heard about it, yeah. Which was kind of another issue that we took exception with. They're talking about making broad changes, and I'm not saying that they might not be necessary, that they might not need to look at revenue stream increases. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that they haven't reached out to any of the other agencies, be it the school district, be it the county itself, the East Wenatchee Water District. Some of these effects to the data centers and crypto centers. I know for a fact that they're the water district's largest customer. So you're looking at affecting an outside agency's largest customer base. On terms of percentages, which I think is the biggest thing here, through a tax base, they are between 15 and 21% of these outside agencies' tax base. And you're looking at, imposing a rate increase that's, unsustainable for them. They had a meeting last week with the port, and we all attended, all three commissioners.
Yeah, let's talk about that meeting, because that was this past Monday.
This past Monday, I guess,
special meeting of the newly created Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority. Who was in attendance at that meeting?
There was a lot of people in attendance at that meeting. There was CEOs from the data centers, all data centers, and a lot of the cryptocurrency mining operations out there, especially the larger ones. Were representatives from SABI, represented from Salcedo Connection, Malachi Salcedo. He was there. There was a lot of elected
taxing districts.
All the taxing districts were there. Garn Christensen from the school district was there. You had representatives from the water district. You had the water district's commissioners there, sewer district, our commission.
Why was the PUD not?
I'm not sure that they were invited.
Okay.
I think this was a meeting of the people this could potentially affect. And I think it was an open invitation to the people that will be affected by these rate increases to have a open forum and a discussion, because like I mentioned earlier, none of us were really contacted, and none of us were, kind of brought up to speed on the reasoning and thought processes and how we might be affected, and any consideration for, how might we help come to a different resolution. We did reach out. Our commission did reach out. Mark Straub, one of our other commissioners, did reach out to one of their commissioners, and we got a response back that we should just attend the public meeting due to the sensitive nature on the 23rd. So it was kind of our intent at the county to deal with this, at the leadership level, and talk from commissioner to commissioner, and see how we might help. How can we help at Douglas County? To help you guys, and we wanted to better understand what the issues are. Like I said, this might not be an issue about needing revenue, it's just about how we are going to get there.
So basically, your issue is with the perceived lack of transparency here?
That's a large part of it. When you're going to make a decision, they are a public utility. They are there to support the public, and when you affect all these outside agencies whose job it also is to support the public, and you're looking at decisions that could quite possibly cut up to 20% of their budget out, those are huge, impactful decisions. And to have not even been contacted, I think is wrong.
But you also feel then that the PUD may be killing the golden goose?
They very well could be. I do know, having talked to some of the CEOs of some of these companies, that they have said that these rate proposals are not sustainable, and there will obviously be no more expansions. They will look to outside of the area for any further expansions, which is unfortunate, because I know Sabi Data Centers have plans to build, I believe it is at least 6 more buildings, 140 acres worth of development. That creates a lot of great paying jobs, for the community. People might not realize how, like you said, the trickle-down effect. There might not be a lot of people that work at the data centers day in and day out, but it does take a lot of support to keep them operating, from other businesses that are in our community, through HVAC systems that need to be maintained, generators that need to be maintained. There's a lot of maintenance aspect and a lot of ongoing outside companies that support these, as well as a lot of the companies and a lot of workers and a lot of tradesmen, pipe fitters and electricians that help support them when they're being built, long-term projects.
The clustering that occurs.
Absolutely.
Okay. Also, I think that going forward, certainly the cryptocurrency miners, or the Bitcoin miners, and the data centers are a huge drain on electrical power as well.
Yeah, that is something that we need to look at, and that's part of getting the other side of that story that when we reached out to the leadership level, and then after I'd written the letter, I was kind of asked to be redirected to talk to staff and talk to management. But I really wanted to talk to the decision makers, because at the end of the day, staff is going to present what they're going to present, based on the interest of the PUD and what they perceive they need to do, but that might not be what's best for the whole community. And that's why we wanted to talk to, commissioner to commissioner, the people that are actually going to make the decisions at the end of the day. And I want to get their understanding, if they fully understand all the information that's been presented to them.
Let me ask you this, with regard to, let's talk about not just the PUD, but all the taxing districts in the county. Are you all on the same page at this point in terms of just the overall picture of growth in the county and how to deal with it?
I think everybody has their own, I'll say, ideologies. The people that I've spoke with at the water district, the sewer district, we all understand that if we're not growing, that we're dying, and we understand that it best serves our constituency if these agencies like the water districts and the sewer districts increase their service area and are able to expand and increase their sales of whatever commodity they're selling. And when you take that away, it has the opposite effect. It's a drain on their agency, and the people that are left are still going to have to pick up the tab. It costs what it costs to operate these agencies, and you either lay people off, reduce services, or pay more. That's kind of your 3 options, what you're left with when you take a huge budget cut like that. I did speak in passing with Sally Brawley at the Metropolitan Parks Department, another taxing agency that's the recipient of taxes. She said she'd probably
They're at the bottom rung of the ladder.
they're low, but she said their budget's small too. She said they might have to lay off a couple of people if this were to go through and these data centers moved away and this revenue that we have isn't available for to support those operations.
And for the purposes of this interview today, the only real information we got from the PUD was from their December 10th meeting earlier in the week, or last week, and they provided a chart that actually shows the breakdown on how the rate adjustments would affect the different sectors. And just off the top of my head, it looks like here the crypto and low-tier data centers would be looking at about a 30% increase in their rates next year. Data centers would be at about 15% next year, according to these numbers here.
Yeah, I'm always suspect around numbers. I like I said, we haven't been invited to speak with the commissioners. We did get asked to speak with the management, and we haven't had the opportunity to do so. We're probably going to find out when everybody else does at a public meeting, I guess. I'm always, like I said, suspect around numbers. I don't know where 20 and 10% and 30% come from. It seems awfully convenient. I don't understand how you target the largest tax-paying entities in our county. I don't get their thought process, and maybe part of that's my fault for not having taken more effort in the last week and have to reach out to them and track them down and find it out. But that's, I guess, part of the what I take exception with is this a decision, like I've said again, of this magnitude. We should have
public process.
The public process should have been a little longer and a little more transparent and more opportunity for comment, more opportunity for people to understand.
Commissioner Kyle Steinburg with Douglas County joining us on In Focus today. I'm going to give you the last word. Kyle, anything you'd like to leave us with?
Well, we just want to make sure that the decisions that are made at every public agency, whether it be the county, our commission, other agencies, or the PUD, is in the best interest of our constituency. The Douglas County Commissioners have worked very hard to, I guess, brand ourselves as being open for business, creating opportunity for, new commercial growth, residential growth, and industrial growth. And we would hate all of our hard work to simply be washed away by literally the flip of a switch. So we're hoping that the PUD can work with all of these agencies, and we can work together to find out what their needs are and how they can be met without disenfranchising the people that are so vital to our local economies here in Douglas County.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us here, and I want to remind our viewers, too, that we will be following this as a story. Jefferson Robbins will be following up with a report on this topic. Also, we're told that the Douglas County PUD will be having a news conference on Friday. Our interview here is being pre-recorded on Thursday, so we'll get additional information, I'm sure, following that public hearing on Friday. Again, for Kyle, I want to say thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Hare. This is In Focus on NCW Life News.